Hello everyone, Poor Cynic here with Tab on Tyrant Reviews, and this is Campaign Manager by Kevin Bradford. The U.S. election season is in full swing, and you are tasked with guiding either the Democrats or Republicans to the White House. Sorry, independents. Launch advertising campaigns, recruit volunteers, and push your message in the swing states in an effort to promote your candidate. Now, first things off, you may be wondering, where's the sound? There's no sound in this game. Well, there are sound effects, there's no music. That is one of the many problems I have with this game. It's well, you're gonna see, because it's a thing and a half. First, let's go to About, and it's very basic. You can review the game, you can look at more games that Kevin Bradford has done, like it on Facebook, and there's where you get the sound effects. So we're starting a new game. One of the good things about this game is you actually get to pick historical elections going back to 1992, as you can see. So it's nice that they put in that sort of depth and variability. I like that. We're going to stick with the current campaign. You can see here not all the candidates that are running or have run in the past that may have dropped out are available. Let's go with the matchup that never, ever, ever could have or would have happened. O'Malley and Jeb Bush. Martin O'Malley versus Jeb Bush. Who are we going to pick? I'm going to go Republican, not because I support Jeb Bush, but because it'll be win-win for me. If Bush wins, then I'm happy, and if Bush loses, then I'm also happy. And we're going to go with normal difficulty. So here we have the actual map. And this is where the problems begin. This game has very little depth to it. Or it feels like it has very little depth to it. It's a major problem. It's very shallow. It's very number-driven. There's not a lot of character to it, which you'll see as I get into some things here on screen. At the very top, in the top left, under August 25th, first off, we have the menu button. You can resume the game, restart the game, help, and main menu. Help is extremely basic. Tap state to launch campaigns and view stats. Tap fundraiser to collect money. Control the speed of the game. You have 75 days until the election. Now get to work. That's it. That's all the explanation you pretty much get, which is another problem once we get into the actual campaign, because it doesn't explain anything. It's one of the major sins of this game. It doesn't tell you what these things do. There's the various game speeds. There's your campaign funds. You can adjust your campaign here, or improve it, I suppose. Volunteer coordinator, campaign managers, fundraisers. We're going to upgrade all of these. I got to go back into the menu each time to do it, which is a pain. And then we have the electoral estimate. So, like, the number of states that have already pretty much committed to you, or to the Republicans in this case, number of states still up for grabs, and the number of states that have committed to the Democrats so far, with 75 days left to go. Now, in order to do anything, you're going to tap on one of the states themselves. So, let's go to one of the key battleground states. Let's go to Florida. You see here all of Florida's various stats. Population of 19.8 million, which isn't really important. The mood is neutral. It's not explained what the mood means. I think it's supposed to tie into, like, the tone of your campaign, but it's not explained what that does. It's not explained what running a scare campaign in a neutral state will do, or running a positive campaign in a neutral state will do. Here's the number of electoral votes and the current layout. In this case, 45% Democratic, 10% undecided, 45% Republican. Then there are the priorities to that state, which is immigration, education, and healthcare. These will vary per state. And the number of volunteers currently in that state. You can do 5 different things in each state. There's a television campaign, which reaches everybody but is very expensive. There's a radio campaign, which is cheaper but really only goes to conservatives. There's an internet campaign, which is cheaper than television but, again, only reaches liberals. There's a ground campaign, which is people going door to door, very expensive, good for getting the undecided. And then hiring volunteers makes everything more effective. And as you can see, we tap on different states, like, so let's go to Virginia. There's going to be different priorities, different layouts, all that sort of thing. Let's go to campaign here. One thing I forgot to mention, the campaign focus. Again, this is not explained. I'm guessing that your campaign is more effective with advertising the focuses on this particular area, but it doesn't say. So let's start laying things out. I'm going to start hiring volunteers. 2,000 in Florida, 2,000 in Ohio, another battleground state. Virginia. What's Virginia look right now? Let's also go with 2,000 in Virginia. And we have 32,000 left. 32 million left, I'm sorry. And what does Wisconsin, Michigan look like? Wisconsin is slightly leaning Democrat, and Michigan is more so leaning Democrat, but it could go either way because it's 11% undecided. Let's try for Wisconsin. Going to hire 1,000 volunteers there and 1,000 volunteers in Colorado. Yeah, okay. All right, that's a good start. And now we're going to start running some ads right out of the gate. Let's focus on the states that are sort of leaning Republican, but not quite. I'm going to go to North Carolina, which is only 3% for Republicans at the moment. Probably should have hired volunteers here. Oh well, we're going to start with a radio campaign. Each of the campaigns you pick has 3 different stats. There's the impact it will have, and that basically just determines how much it costs. There's the topic you can focus on, and the style, which varies between positive, scare, attack, and rebuttal. Not explain what any of this does. But, whatever. It's not like you're doing anything serious. It's just politics. It's just the presidency of the United States. North Carolina is interested in education, immigration, and international. So let's do a radio campaign about education. And we're going to have that be a medium campaign. And we're going to run this positive. Start out positive. In Georgia. Again, another education-heavy state. Yeah, let's do another radio campaign about education. Go, baby, go. And now we can start to go. It's going to take a few days to get all the volunteers out. Yeah, you can see here a pop-up just occurred. That was a fundraising event. This is another thing I don't like. 1, it makes a game feel like a clicker-style game, which just takes away from the entire thing that if this is supposed to be, I would expect this game to be a simulation. It's not. It has the numbers you would expect from a simulation, but none of the depth, none of the crunch. And that is extremely disappointing. Also, the fundraising campaigns are random. So if you're low on money, which is very common, you can't just go, I'm going to fundraise in this state that really likes me. No, you got to wait for a pop-up. That's not great. What are we going to do now? Indiana is 48% Republican. Iowa is split right down the middle. Let's go for a economy radio campaign, because that's the strength of my thing there. And they have 2 days left to hire all the volunteers, so we're going to wait. A lot of waiting in this game. Just waiting for things to tick over. And we're going to get 3 more of those. Everybody should be hired. Already, I am down by 2 points in Colorado. Check the other battleground states. I'm down by 0.1 in Florida. That's not bad. Ohio, I'm down by 0.8. Virginia, I am down by 0.1. North Carolina, I am up by 3. Of course, that campaign hasn't finished yet, so might not see the full effect. Michigan, I am down by quite a bit. But I didn't focus on Michigan. I focused on Wisconsin. I am down by 1.1. Okay, let's do a ground campaign in Wisconsin. They are interested in immigration, social interest, and international. Let's do it about immigration, and let's do scare. Let's do a scare campaign. Why not? We'll do a medium impact campaign. Colorado, we're going to do a ground campaign about social issues. And again, it's going to be scare. Gotta watch out those Democrats. They're going to do stuff with the country. They're going to ruin everything. We got to get those Democrats. And next, Virginia, we're going to run a radio campaign here. We're going to focus on immigration. And we're going to do scare. Scare the crap out of the country. And in Florida, surprised, this may sound a little bad, but I'm surprised healthcare is not higher. Because it's Florida. And we're going to do... It's going to cost $2 million to do a low-impact ground campaign. You know what? Let's splurge. No. Yes. We're going to splurge. We're going to talk about... What was the thing they cared about most? It was immigration, and we're going to do another scare campaign. And we have 19 million left with 72 days left. Wow, I am burning through cash. And we're going to play the game and wait for time to pass. Alright, looks like Georgia. Got a little more red. Good. And some more money trickling in. What's North Carolina look like right now? 49.4% for Republican. Let's hire some volunteers. And get some more money from New York. And good, South Dakota. Those 3 vital votes for South Dakota. Alright, let's pause again. What are we looking at? Still losing in Ohio. Slightly ahead in Wisconsin. Slightly ahead in Virginia. Still losing in Florida. Slightly behind in Colorado. What does Iowa look like? Slightly behind in Iowa, too. What about Missouri? I totally forgot about Missouri. We are slightly ahead in Missouri. I'm going to hire some volunteers here. And we are going to run a campaign of sorts. We're going to run a ground campaign here in Virginia. We're going to talk about immigration. We're going to scare the hell out of people. We're going to medium impact. Ohio. Let's do a radio campaign. What's a television campaign going to cost me? A hell of a lot of money, but we're going to do it anyway. 7 million. Let's do a low impact campaign. What is going to be? Economy. Talk about the economy. And we're going to scare the crap out of people. Do 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 do. Oh, money. There's not a lot to do in terms of depth. You're just waiting for things to tick over. Michigan got a little bit more blue there. North Carolina, we are still ahead. Virginia, still ahead. Ohio, slightly ahead. Hey! Good news for me. Wisconsin, slightly ahead. Florida, slightly ahead. Let's go TV. Ooh, it hurts me. It hurts me bad. We're going to run another scare campaign there. Colorado. Those Coloradans, man. They're just so ornery and sticking to the Democrats. Probably all that pot. I love you, Colorado. You're great. And I don't just say that because I live here. We're going to run a ground campaign. Oh, it's super cheap to run a ground campaign in Colorado. Let's go for a high impact. We're going to talk about social issues. And we're going to continue to scare the crap out of people. Actually, we're going to issue a rebuttal style. I don't know what it means because it doesn't tell you, but we're going to do it anyway. Can I do anything in New Mexico? I could try. Let's try. And fortunately, it's cheap as hell. I'm going to do a radio campaign. What do they care about in New Mexico? Energy, healthcare, and economy. Economy is what I'm strong at, so let's do economy. And let's do another scare campaign. Impact high, go. New Mexico went a bit more blue. 49 to 45. It'd be really hard to win New Mexico at this point. I got to swing more independents. Virginia, though, has gone slightly pink. Happy about that. North Carolina, still slightly ahead. Good. Ohio, slightly ahead. And Florida, very slightly ahead. But the television campaign is not done yet. What about Wisconsin? Slightly behind. Let's do a TV campaign in Wisconsin about, what do they care about? Immigration. And let's continue to scare people. This is pretty much the extent of the game. There's nothing else to it. You don't get random events that could sway things. You don't hire operatives apart from in this campaign window. This is it. This is the extent of what you can do. And it's really disappointing. Oh, I'm losing status in North Carolina. But I had a really successful fundraiser in very democratic Hawaii, so that's great. There's very little to this. And it's really disappointing because I like political simulators. They can be really, not necessarily fun in the traditional sense. They can be fun. But they can also be, let's say, a bit dry. Yeah, that's more accurate. North Carolina, I'm still ahead by 3 points, I think, about. Let's get another ground campaign going here. What do they care about? Education. I'm all for education, but the current administration is doing it all wrong. We're going to scare the hell out of you again. It's just disappointing because I know there are great political simulators out there, and this is not one of them. What the hell? I just lost stuff in Virginia. That sucks. We're going to go full on this radio campaign. I just need to remember what they actually do. International or immigration. We're going to talk about international issues, and we're going to continue to scare you. Yeah. I wanted this to be more. And I expected there to be more because this actually costs $1.99. You expect more from a premium title. There wasn't anything to this, and that's extremely disappointing. Almost as disappointing as Colorado-leaning Democrat. Come on. Colorado, fall for what I'm preaching to you. There's unfortunately very little to recommend about Campaign Manager, largely because there's very little to Campaign Manager. I don't feel like I'm actually accomplish anything when I play beyond shuffling numbers around on a chart that I can't see. What do they care about again? Social issues. We're going to run a ground campaign about social issues. And it's going to be super cheap. And we're going to scare you again. It doesn't help that the game doesn't explain anything to you outside of a few vague sentences. Politics is a more complex beast than just all the known numerical data in the world can indicate. This game fails to capture that depth, resulting in just an uninspiring pile of nothing. If you're looking to get your political fix before the elections draw to a close, I'd recommend looking somewhere else. This is just a disappointment. I've been Poor Cynic, and I will see you all next time. Ta-ta, and farewell.